Right. Well, we're making this little video clip because some people have spoken about the use of the whip, and they've commented that it's actually cruel to use the whip and it's better to ride the horses without a whip. So what we want to do is dispel some of those myths and actually discuss the advantages of using a stick from the point of view of training and, more importantly, safety. Now, the reason sticks have got a bad press is because people see it as a weapon, and certainly the horses often see it as punishment, so that if a horse is frightened of a whip, you actually can't use it. You can only use the whip when the horse realises it's not going to be punished, and we spend a long time getting them to be very familiar with the whip and to trust us with the whip. So we might do things like this, rubbing their face with it as we go along, putting it between their ears, putting it here, rubbing it all over. Now in this weather, when there's flies, I can use the whip. I can use this whip wherever I like, because a horse fly under his tummy, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I can use this whip all the way up here in between his legs. I can flick off any fly like this, and go down like this and really get the flies. So in actual fact, I'm helping him when we ride in the summer, because I can get rid of all the flies and I can move it over like this. I can spin it round like this, and Bryn isn't at all frightened of the whip, as most of the others aren't. Now, when it comes to riding on the road, there are a lot of concerns about safety, and we know that there's a lot of accidents involving horses, and mostly that's because the cars don't give the riders a wide enough berth, so when the horses step sideways or do a shy, you know, they can actually hit a car, or a car can hit them. And the thing is, if you really can't keep your horse's quarters under control, it's a safety issue, and the stick is very good at that. And not only does it keep the quarters under control, we're not talking about beating the horse, we're talking about supporting them to keep the quarters under control. In actual fact, the horses like to rely on it, and all you have to do is give them a little tickle with the whip, and they say, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go in a straight line past that. So in actual fact, nobody should ride, in our opinion, on the road without being able to have the stick on any part of the horse and use it. So it's definitely not a weapon. It's like an extension of your arm. It's like a third leg, and we use it to desensitize the horses to anything the rider might do, like tapping here. So I mean, if he thought the stick was a nasty weapon, what would he be doing? Well, he'd be cantering off down the drive. But he knows that this stick isn't going to hurt him, you know. And I can even make whippy noises. Well, not too much. I mean, I don't want to frighten him, but you can see that, like most of the horses, you know, and we can do this like this, so and he's licking and chewing, and he really doesn't care. So I think we've covered that. Now, just say on just a little further up, there's a red sack, and it's very slightly windy today. Now, say we're riding along and there's a red sack in the hedge, and then we've got a vehicle coming behind us. Well, we don't want our horse to suddenly go in the road, so we use our stick to help that. So we're going to walk on now, walk on Bryn, and I'm going to little tap with my whip, and we're going to come along here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to purposely bring his quarters out like this. Okay, so this is the sort of thing, if he swung his quarters into the traffic because he saw a bag, I can, yeah, okay, you can use your leg, but how many times do horses not listen to the leg when they're frightened of something? I can use this stick like this to straighten him up. Now he's not frightened, he's just straightening so that when I ask him to go past, he can feel this whip and he'll go past without shying at the object. Now what we'll do is I'm going to come past this trailer's got something in it like a bucket, and I can do the same thing here. So I can use my stick to keep him straight past the trailer and the car, and that's to control the quarters. Now if when I've asking him to go, or any horse, past something and the shoulder is coming out, now we're going to do this, the shoulder is coming out, we can use the stick, so I don't know if you can, we can use the stick on the shoulder like this, and the horse will move over. So he no longer, and the bag's broken on the ground, it's no longer spinning in the road, so it really has a safety feature. Oh, here's a bag. There. I had a little plan for that bag, but it seems to have... I can use my stick. Here's another use for the stick. Let's just come up one more step, Bryn. We can use the stick in plastic training to pick up a scary thing of plastic and show it to the horse, and use the stick to save us getting off the ground. So the stick has a lot of uses other than punishing your horse, and if you're going to punish the horse with a stick, then you really need to look at your riding or your horsemanship. And for those that think the stick is cruel, I hope that you'll at least consider that actually it has a lot of uses in supporting and training the horse and building trust with the horse, so that the horse is confident with you holding and using a stick and tapping it up, and on occasions, you know, maybe giving the bottom a bit of a going over, but that's no worse than kicking the horse, you know, kicking it hard. Now, Zara, who's kindly recording this, has reminded me that in the village there's quite a large elderly population. They do a lot of extraordinary things with their walking sticks, and they can go along and they flick them, and they do this with them and they do that with them, and when I say good morning, they go good morning, and they lift up their stick, they say good morning. Now if the horse is frightened of sticks, that's a really big safety issue, and so we can use the stick. Well, actually the latch isn't catching, but the principle's the same. And then, having done that, before that or after that, you can do this, which you couldn't do to get the horse used to that sound of metallic gates. And tell you how valuable that is, because what we're going to do is we're going to go through the gate now, and then Zara's going to shut it with a metal clang. We're going to stand directly here, and he's going to shut it with a metal clang. And the reason that Bryn doesn't jump is because I've done all that work with a stick. Now, a lot of the bridle paths today have the self-closing galvanised gates that you go through, and they're on a spring, and you no sooner get through and they go clang shut. Well, a stick helps the horse understand that those noises are no longer scary. And the other thing we can do, is we can use our stick to bash the foliage so that the horse isn't frightened of, you know, rustles in the bushes. And then as you go behind, you see your stick then is making noises behind you, or you can drag it through the grass down here by its feet. So when it feels the grass and the stick in its feet, the horse doesn't jump. So what's not to like about using the stick? We really couldn't help the horses develop trust in us and build this lovely relationship that we have without the use of the stick. Wouldn't you agree, Bryn? Yes, he says, yeah. Thank you for watching.